Whew. Thinking a bit about manifestation and the part in my journey into sobriety that manifestation played. I'm buzzing to talk about this topic because it's become very real for me this weekend. So I'm currently in Lombok and I've come here for a little boys' trip with a couple of my pals. And boys' trips for me used to be very, very different. They used to involve loads of drugs, loads of drinking, beach clubs, whether we were going to Marbella or Miami or Ibiza, it was always evolving around getting fucked up. And this last few days, I've been riding around on a scooter barefoot with a surfboard on the side of it, going out to surf, exploring an island with the boys, catching sunsets and sunrises. And it's just highlighted to me that I fucking manifested this. Not this exact trip, and that's not how manifesting works. Like, I didn't know I was going to be in this exact place, but I manifested being the kind of person that knew how to have fun without drink. And that's the distinction between what a lot of people misconstrue manifestation to be. Yes, it can involve material things, but it actually starts from a feeling within, and that you actually have to become what you want to receive. And if that sounds confusing, just carry on watching and I'll break down through a story about how I did this. I tried to get sober twice before I succeeded. So this is my third attempt at sobriety. And I genuinely believe that the difference is how I used manifestation, visualization, or future pacing, some people call it. But essentially, the first two times I tried to quit drinking, I was focusing on the negative. Like, so much of my energy, my focus, my attention was just on the fact that I did not want to drink and who I didn't want to be. And because I had so much focus on that, that's kind of just where all of my energy got sucked back to. Like, there's this expression that where your attention goes, energy flows. And even though the word don't was there, like, I think the brain has a very difficult time computing and understanding the word don't. If I'm constantly saying to myself, don't drink, don't drink, don't drink, I'm still thinking about drinking. Whereas this time around in sobriety, even from very, very early, like within the first couple of weeks of sobriety, my sister actually gave me this podcast to listen to, which I'll try and find it and I'll try and link it below if I can dig it up, which was all about writing a letter to yourself. And this was really about my first gateway into manifestation. And the idea behind the letter was that you had to write the letter as your future self to you of today. At the time, I think it was around about September, and I stopped drinking in August. So I was like a month into sobriety maybe, and I was writing myself a letter as me on Christmas Day. So I wasn't like this wasn't like the 5-year, 10-year plan. This was like a few months into the distance, right? And I wrote this letter and I really sat there and visualized myself opening this letter on Christmas Day. And I really wanted to try and visualize to like the exact degree the kind of person that I wanted to be on Christmas Day. And then I wanted to write a letter back to me today, explaining all of the awesome things that we'd done, explaining what we'd learned about ourselves, explaining how we'd been showing up over the last few months, saying how thankful I was to this past version of myself for making the tough decisions that got me of today on Christmas Day to where I am. And I sat there and I wrote this letter. It's 2 pages. And I can remember thinking every day after I wrote that letter, I actually put it in plain sight. I put it by the front door. So I had to walk past it multiple times a day. And I'd written on the envelope that I'd put it in, Merry Christmas, Ali. And I really thought of me creating this future version of myself. Or every day that I woke up and I didn't want to go to the gym, or I didn't want to eat the healthy meal, or I was really had a strong craving, I kept remembering that what I was doing, everything hard that I was doing, was part of the Christmas present that I was giving myself. And every time I saw this letter, it was a reminder of like, almost kind of like this, you can't fuck this up for yourself energy, which is an energy I'd never had before. I feel like up until sobriety, every single one of my achievements was either to prove something to somebody else or to show people what I was capable of. It was never really something that was truly for myself. It was always to be able to say to other people that I'd done it. And I don't know if that resonates with you in any way, shape, or form, but I feel like a lot of people, we go through life just trying to prove stuff to other people. We very rarely do things just for ourselves because it's good for us. And I think that is. There's some boys having fun outside. And I think that is where sobriety is the game changer that people don't expect it to be, because you go into it thinking, I'm just going to quit drinking. I'll be a bit healthier. I won't have hangovers. But really, it opens up this whole new journey of self-love. And that starts by you doing this thing for many people, which is the first good thing you've done for yourself in a long, long time. And I so fully, fully believe that manifestation plays a real key part in every man's journey of sobriety, that it's how I begin working with any client that I work with. Like, the first kind of questions I'll ask them is about, all right, cool, sobriety aside, what do you want your life to look like? And 9 times out of 10, the men will just tell me what they don't want. They'll be like, well, I don't want this, I don't want that. I didn't ask you what you don't want. In fact, I don't really care what you don't want. What do you want? Running towards something is so much more powerful than running away from something. And I think many of us, we just instantly know what we don't want. We know what we don't want our life to look like. Or if someone says what you do want, you come up with something that's not really that lined and just quite generic. Oh, I want a big house, I want a fast car. Like, do you? Like, what do you really, really, really want? And it can be quite a difficult process, because if you've been out of alignment for so long and you look around your life and you feel disconnected from it, you question your ability to know what you want, because you look around and you're like, I've already achieved things that I thought were going to make me happy and they didn't. So what are those things going to be? The first step really into manifesting yourself sober is to start asking yourself some really intelligent questions about the life that you want to live. Almost take it for granted that it isn't the way that you're living right now. Fine, cool, no judgment. We just put that to bed. If we were to build everything from today onwards, what would that look like? And that is a very challenging question in itself. I've broken that down into some much smaller questions, which will help guide you through that process. If you want those questions, there's a link below this video. Just click that and I'll send them to you so you can begin to start figuring out what this amazing life that you might want to manifest for yourself sober is.